strongest Atlantic hurricane for almost a decade is moving across the Caribbean Sea towards Jamaica and Haiti. Hurricane Matthew is expected to cause chaos despite weakening slightly. It's now a Category 4 storm with wind speeds of 230 kilometers an hour. It should make landfall on Monday on the southern coast of Jamaica. Our correspondent Nick Davis, who's in Kingston, Jamaica, says people are battening down ahead of Storm Matthew.
And they're basically doing everything they can to make sure that this storm does not affect them like what Hurricane Gilbert did, as we mentioned earlier on in the report, in 1988. That caused widespread devastation. So people are going out, they're filling baths, like myself, full of water just in case we get cut off. They're getting battery backups, they're making sure all their phones are charged, and most importantly, food. People are going out, buying food wherever they can, tin food, anything which is not going to go off, because if electricity does get shut off, it means that this island could be cut off for days. Last time a storm came through here, Hurricane Sandy, a major storm back in 2012, even up here, it was 3 weeks before we got electricity back, and that's something which the country desperately are trying to avoid.
So what are the authorities doing?
Well, they have opened shelters all over the island. They're telling people what they need to do in terms of disaster preparedness. They're cleaning gullies. One of the big problems which we face here in the Caribbean is that the storms come in so quickly, the rain comes down so heavily that it inundates all of the gullies, all of the areas where the water should drain away. And so they're cleaning those to make sure that those areas are clear. Unfortunately, they're playing a bit of a catch-up game. Only a few weeks ago, we had severe weather, which caused major flooding in the downtown part of Kingston. So they're really trying their best to make sure that all of those areas are clear, but they're also making sure that people have places to go. What they don't want is people's roofs to get ripped off or people's homes to get destroyed and have nowhere to go. So they're putting out radio messages, and they're actually even using town criers to go around communities explaining to people where they need to go, making sure that everybody knows the message.
Nevertheless, how common are these Category 4 storms?
Oh, this has been. This earlier on it was a Category 5, and that was the first one we had since 2007. As I said, Hurricane Gilbert back in 1988 was a Category 3, and I remember coming here as a child. My parents are Jamaican. I remember coming here as a child 2 years later, and you could still see the devastation. You could still see the damaged buildings. You could still see, the roof tiles which have been ripped, the zinc which have been ripped off roofs. People really don't want that sort of thing to happen again. The Prime Minister said that he doesn't think that's going to be the case because people are more prepared. But on an individual person-to-person basis, when you speak to people, they're really now aware that this is going to be a serious storm. And, hopefully it's going to pass just shy of Jamaica. But if it doesn't, it's going to make landfall and it's going to hit Kingston especially very, very hard if that is the case.
Nick Davis there with that report.